This is always a tough day. The season's over, and so it's time to do the postmortem, and we got that today from Shane Steichen. Shane Steichen also kind of put to rest some of the speculation about Gus Bradley. If you are not a fan of Gus Bradley, if you want Gus Bradley being replaced as a defensive coordinator, I don't think you're going to like what Shane Steichen has to say.
Morning, guys. I just want to start off by thanking everybody, you guys, for the coverage you guys do, the fans, the players, for all the hard work they put in. You know, it takes a village of grinders to do what we do. And, you know, it didn't end the way we wanted to. It was tough. And I just told the players in the team meeting, you know, tough times don't last, but tough people do. And set goals for yourself for next season, and we go from there. So, right where you guys are.
Shane, just looking back at just the game in its totality, just put a ball on it. When you watch the film, what was maybe your overarching takeaways?
I think offensively, you know, we didn't start the way we wanted to. Obviously, third down was a crutch for us in that game. We didn't convert there in a lot of situations, and you know, we got backed up a few times. Didn't get out of the hole. Then we started running it really well, and the offensive line blocked really well. Obviously, you know, had a chance to win it there at the end, and didn't get it done. But the guys fought like crazy, but just, you know, disappointing finish.
In terms of the season, do you feel like you set your foundation for what you want to do going forward?
I think so. I think you always want to, you know, have a solid year. Obviously, you want to get in the playoffs, right? That's the goal. The goal is to win the division and get in the playoffs, and we were right there. And to come up short, it was very disappointing. But a lot to learn from myself, everybody involved going forward, so we can have a hell of a, you know, 2024 season.
Shane, what will Richardson benefit from this season? I mean, 4 games and what will he take away from this season?
You know, he obviously got, you know, a chance to sit back and watch and learn, and you know, I had some good meetings with him throughout the season. You know, just individually, me and him sitting down and talking football, and really just seeing the NFL season as a whole. Obviously, would love to have him out there for the season to learn that way, but you know, there's always reasons in life, I think, why things happen, and I think, you know, what happened to him was unfortunate, but I think it's going to make him stronger at the end.
Can you sense through those conversations that like the knowledge was kind of sticking and growing still from Anthony?
Yeah, no, it was huge. Just talking with him individually, going through just different stuff, you know, just football, one-on-one stuff, coverages and fronts, and going through what do we like versus this look and all that. And he was soaking it in, and he was wired in all year, obviously doing his rehab. But, you know, looking forward to his future next year.
Shane, it's been 48 hours. Everybody's still talking about 4th and 1 as you could expect. Are you more convicted now that that was the right play, the right personnel, or have you had some second thoughts at all?
You know, when it doesn't work, you're always going to think about it. You know what I mean? Yeah, have I stopped thinking about that play? No, I haven't. It was a huge play in the game. Got the look we wanted, and it didn't work out. And that's football sometimes. And it is frustrating. It's disappointing. But again, faith and trust in anyone we put on that field, you're gonna make a play.
The games are over, but what happens next for you specifically? Whether it's evaluating or just rest of doing it?
Yeah, right now I'm going to meet with all the players individually today. They'll meet with their position coaches, check out, and then we'll evaluate everything this week going forward, and then we'll take some time, you know, get away for a little bit, and come back and get ready to go for the combine and the draft and all that stuff.
How much does trajectory matter? You know, because you guys always do say correctly that every year is different, but does the trajectory still matter, you know, coming out of the year?
Yeah, I think it matters. You know, we got to evaluate. Every year is a new year, as we know. There's not going to be the same faces on this roster. It's just how it works, and you got to build it again. You know what I mean? You got to find out, like, hey, what's your identity going to be in 2024? We're going to find out, and that's a process that you start, you know, right now, and going into the spring and training camp and into the season.
And Coach, you kind of talked about AR and his progression this season, getting those mental reps. But what about guys who got those physical reps, guys like Juju, Josh, Blake, and just Jalen, other rookies who saw the field a lot?
Yeah, I think it's huge for those young guys to get those reps and get that experience out there moving forward, because it'll help. Anytime a young player goes out there and plays, the more you see, the more you play. I think that's how you learn too. There's different ways to learn, but if you go out there and experience it, I think it's big for those guys.
And then just kind of building on that, kind of mentioned Juju and Jalen kind of stepped into the secondary. How big was it having somebody like Kenny or Julian back there to kind of coach them up when they're on the field?
It's big. Anytime you got a veteran player back there, the communication, making sure everyone's on the same page. Those young guys can learn from that veteran leadership that's been doing it for a long time and playing good football. So I think there's good continuity there with the veteran presence and the young guys seeing it. I think that's big.
Shane, you're always looking ahead or whatever. Do you anticipate staff changes or not?
I believe in continuity, I'll say that.
Shane, I know the season didn't end the way you obviously wanted it to end, but for you, your first year in the NFL coaching, how much did you appreciate this season and how much did you learn as your first time here?
I learned a lot. I appreciated every moment of it and enjoyed every moment of it. And you guys have heard me say this a whole bunch, but the people around you that you surround yourself with makes a huge difference. And we got a lot of good dudes on this team, a lot of good support staff. The ups and downs of the season, the adversity that we faced, going through those, trials, were big for me. And, there's stuff that always pops up random. I'm sure stuff's going to pop up again next year that you got to deal with. And, again, the support I had around me was incredible. And, enjoyed every moment.
Shane, just to continue with Chap's question just on staff, I only asked this because you didn't hire Gus, so, he was already in place. What was your first year like working with him? And then philosophically, do you guys feel aligned? And I don't know, do you see that as a good partnership moving forward?
Yeah, I've worked with Gus for 4 years at the Chargers, so I got, background with Gus. And again, I believe in continuity, and I got a ton of respect for Gus.
Shane, when it comes to Michael Pittman, he's going to be a free agent, one of many, but what does he mean to this team in your first year?
He was big for us, what he did week in and week out, the numbers he put up, the consistency he played with, the toughness he played with. Got a ton of respect for him as a football player, and he's meant a lot to this organization and a lot to this city.
I think that was Jonathan Taylor's first kind of 100-yard game, big breakout performance. I guess just when you look forward to next year, it's kind of different circumstances for him this year, but when you look to next year, combining him with Anthony Richardson, what kind of excites you about what you guys can do?
Yeah, two really explosive football players. Combining those guys in the backfield is going to be big for us. And obviously we'll get those reps in spring and training camp and gel and create that chemistry with those two back there. But, got a chance, obviously, with both those guys in the backfield to be very explosive.
Obviously, you don't think about what happened last year in regard to the offensive line, but those guys talked a lot about how proud they were, just kind of what 2022 away. Just what did you see from them collectively this year?
Just the way they played together. They fought for each other. They were on the same page. The communication was great. Ryan Kelly being the veteran that he is, and Quentin, was awesome. But guys like, Will Fries and Bernie and Freeland had to play a ton, and Braden Smith and the moving parts, and Tony, our line coach, holding that thing tight in there, and those guys playing for one another was awesome to see, and you could see it on the field. You could feel it here in the building, but they showed up every Sunday and played their tails off.
I know that's a group, the offensive line, but when you walk away and you see how Ryman advanced, you weren't here last year, but did you see this is going to be our left tackle?
Yeah,
did you see enough from him?
Yeah, he did a heck of a job this year. You could see the growth that he played with. He was firm in there. Did a really nice job for us, for sure.
What do you think about Tony meshed well with those guys?
I think he related well to them. I think he, the whole, when we're connected, we're committed. That's kind of what we believe in, and he connected really well with those guys. And when you got a coach that connects with his players, and those players believe in what he's coaching, I think it goes a long way. And that's what he did this year with those guys, and you could see it on the field.
You have a player like Jelani Woods, who's young, talented, but unfortunately had to miss this year. What do you think is kind of next for him as he sort of find a way to develop and didn't get this season?
Yeah, get healthy. That's the biggest thing. Get healthy, and then we'll see where it goes.
Do you think?
Okay,
I know
couple
you
more
just-
here.
Gardner had, excuse me, Gardner had a chance to start. Wasn't the plan, but it worked out. He had some good moments. Do you think I know the season just ended. What do you think he's looking for moving forward? Is that an opportunity maybe to compete somewhere, or?
I haven't talked to him,
Yeah.
but what he did for us was tremendous. He stepped in and should have won us 8-9 games, put us in a couple plays away from hosting a playoff game. So again, I was very, very grateful and thankful that he was here with this football team for sure.
Sean, what is your, I guess, self-evaluation? Like, what is that process? Is it looking back at the game, obviously, or is it talking now, like talking to Ursa? Like, what is your evaluation process like after the first game?
Well, I'm going to meet with all the players individually today. I'll meet with all the coaches tomorrow. We'll look at the roster. Myself and Chris will sit down. We'll evaluate the roster needs. Obviously, there's free agents out there. Obviously, guys that we got to re-sign or however it goes. There's a lot that goes into it, and we'll go through that this week.
Do you feel
All
you're
right, last one
close?
here.
Do you feel, I mean, you're only a couple of plays from the playoffs, but do you feel you're close to getting to where you want to be?
I truly do. I think we're right there. And you could see it by the way our guys fought, but every year is a new year. So we got to rebuild it again next year and have that laser focus just every single day. The details, the preparation that we put into it, we got to be all over it. But I think we're right on the cusp of something really special here.
All right.
That's Shane Steichen. Gus Bradley is going to be back. Unless somebody in this organization plays a trump card emotionally, I think that we can all hear in Shane Steichen's voice a commitment to Gus Bradley coming back as a defensive coordinator and understanding that maybe the problem was personnel, not scheme. Maybe you had to kind of manipulate the scheme in order to accommodate the level of play in the defensive backfield. Maybe that's the case. One way or another, this defense has got to get better. And I don't think that it's going to be because Gus Bradley's no longer the defensive coordinator.